Hello everyone and welcome to the live session for week 4. This week we're talking about data dictionaries, data repositories, data flow approach, data flow diagrams, logical and physical data flow diagrams, and Visio 2016, or a drawing program. The week 4 discussion, you're to identify and list and define some specific categories of the data dictionary. How does it differ from the data repository? Must be at least 100 words, 1 APA reference, 3 replies to others, and your post must cover 3 days. Don't forget to check your spelling and grammar. Now you're supposed to download a trial version of Microsoft Visio, however the trial version for 2013 is no longer available. To download 2016 you have to have at least Office 2016. I tried to download it and it wanted to remove Office 2013. So if you have Office 2013, sorry, I always forget to turn that off. If you have Office 2013, you need to either use OpenOffice, which has OpenOffice Draw, or LibreOffice, which has LibreOffice Draw. If you already have Office 2016, you can go to this link and you can register for Microsoft if you don't have a Microsoft account, fill in the blanks, and choose your version, choose your language. Make sure you copy and paste the product key. You might need it. I didn't get that far, so I don't know. To download Apache OpenOffice, there's a link. You're going to choose the operating system and language. You're going to download the full Office. In order to get Draw, you have to download the whole Office. And the same with LibreOffice. There's some nice tutorials here. If you have trouble downloading software, you can alternately create it in PowerPoint. The only thing I couldn't find was the open-ended triangle, so I would just use a screenshot for that. And then you would send me your PowerPoint. Oh, by the way, I'm hoping that I'll be able to open Visio programs with LibreOffice. But do send me a screenshot just in case I can't. That way you're covered. But send both. So the week 1 assignment, week 4 assignment 1 is 1 page of content. You do need a title, body, and reference page. Don't forget your introduction and conclusion. Now the introduction and conclusion should be separate paragraphs. They both summarize, but they should not be identical. And a lot of people are forgetting that and losing points. So you're going to explain the data flow diagram to a user. You're going to talk about the symbols and what they mean. You're going to answer the questions, and then you're going to create your own diagram. And don't forget to send me your diagram. And it's better if you send the file and a screenshot, just in case. So the symbols are the double square, which depicts an external entity, the arrow, which shows movement of data, the rectangle with rounded corners, which represents a process or task that is performed by the system, and the open-ended rectangle, which represents a data store, a place where data is held between processes. Choose some type of process that would be common to a musical instrument manufacturing company, such as payroll, order system, payments, accounts receivable, something like that. The diagram does not need to be elaborate, but it must include all the basic symbols. You can look up online and find an example, but make sure your diagram is unique. It's not an exact copy. You know, change the wording. Excuse me, or move the symbols around, whatever. And also include a reference. So if you use a diagram from online, I can see that you use that as your sample, but I can also see how you made changes. So You can do a little text box, or you can even put the reference in your reference page. Just make a little note. The week 2, week 4 assignment 2, I'm sorry, I just can't talk today, needs to have title, body, and references. Your references are required, and you should have 5 paragraphs. You're going to define and describe data dictionaries and process descriptions, and then answer the questions that it asks. Next, you have the midterm, which is 40 questions. It may only be taken once, and I thought I would go over the things that you need to know. So know about technical and economic feasibility. Technical feasibility is concerned with the current technical resources that can be upgraded or added to in order to fulfill the requests under consideration. Technical feasibility is dependent upon determining if it is possible to develop the new system with the current technical resources. Economic feasibility is concerned with the analyst's time and the cost for system development, hardware, and business employee time. Judging the feasibility of a proposed system project is not usually a clear-cut decision. Know the meanings of the symbols in an entity relationship diagram. For instance, rectangles represent entities, diamond shapes represent actions, and ovals represent attributes. Things to know about the data flow diagram may be used to analyze the proposed system. Graphically characterize data processes and flows in a business system. Know the 4 basic symbols, which I already went over. Internal data flow contains data that are used between processes. The feasibility study, which is used to gather broad data for members of management that in turn enables them to make decisions on whether to proceed with a system study. Turnkey systems, which are off-the-shelf software systems that cannot be modified to meet the specific individual needs of a particular organization. Project planning focuses on defining clear, discrete activities and the work needed to complete each task. Proper and insightful project planning, including determining project scope as well as identifying project activities, can easily reduce the time in later project phases. The objective of project initiation and planning is to transform a vague system request document into a tangible project description. So at the end of an interview or after the interview, you should ask the question, is there anything else we haven't touched on that you think is important for me to know? You should arrange for follow-up meeting with the interviewees. You should write the interview report as soon as possible after the interview, because the longer you wait to write up your interview, the more suspect the quality of the data becomes. Know about the Agile approach. The core practices of the Agile approach are short releases, the 40-hour work week, hosting an on-site customer, and using pair programming. The common sayings for the Agile approach are model with purpose, software is your primary goal, and travel light. Stories are spoken interaction between developers and users and not written communication. So a story is part of this Agile approach. Agile projects should begin with the simplest possible tasks. Entities are elements that make up an organizational system. Characteristics of a systems analyst are communicator, programmer, project manager, but most important, problem solver. Analysts hired specifically from outside the business to address information systems issues within a business are acting as system consultants. OOSAD stands for Object-Oriented System Analysis and Design. During inception, the primary focus is analysis. During elaboration, the primary focus is design. During construction, the primary focus is making the system truly operational. And during transition, the primary focus is on implementation. The information system cost, a one-time cost, is associated with project startup and development or system startup. Intangible cost is associated with an information system that cannot easily be measured in terms of dollars or with certainty. Time value of money is the concept of comparing present cash outlays to future expected returns. Project initiation focuses on activities that will help organize a team to conduct project planning. Excuse me. Designed reuse is the most expensive and extensive reuse approach. I'm sorry, tickle in my throat. Know the sources of software such as hardware manufacturers, packaged software producers such as Microsoft Project, custom software producers, enterprise-wide solutions, application server providers, in-house developers. The systems development life cycle, although each phase is presented discretely, it is never accomplished as a separate step. In Strobe, if a decision maker has trade journals and newspaper clippings about other companies, they tend to work with external information. Interview structures. Pyramid should be used when you want to warm up the interviewee to a topic. And under JAD session, interviewees may be in more than one JAD session. That's all that I have this time. Please let me know if you have any questions, and good luck on them.